We should be live any second.
I mean, we've technically been live for 30
I think
seconds.
we are.
So.
I'm waiting for YouTube.
Oh.
Oh,
because you did the pre
Oh,
thing.
there we go. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome on in. Getting started.
hello.
Woo woo.
Hey, Cowboy
Gotta-
Phoenix Games.
I'm going to do our announcement.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello. Welcome in.
Did
Thomas
that mention
Circle.
everybody?
Might as well get a jump on this because so far you've no teammates. Thomas, I'm sorry to hear it. Keep looking.
Did you guys get an announcement in Discord?
It did not ping anyone.
Why didn't it
I
ping
got
anyone?
pinged.
You did get pinged?
Yeah.
I didn't get pinged.
In
That's
announcements.
Yeah.
Yeah. Weird. Yeah.
It didn't warn me
Did
that time.
Did everyone in chat get pinged?
Where's the
Chat here.
theme? The moment we were waiting for. Yeah, I only saw one person on Twitch. Hi, one person on Twitch.
That's okay. They got their own little squad there.
Oh, there's two. There's
They
two. Okay, three. No, that's the same person. Two.
We call
I
them
got pinged.
Twitchers.
Okay.
There is a little
Twitchers.
bit of a delay between the chat and
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
okay. I will have to keep an eye on that. Yeah.
Twitchers and tubers.
How's
How's everybody doing? You ready for a game jam?
We're
We're going to get started in 2 minutes here. Bim's going to sing for us. We're doing karaoke.
Yup.
Gotta add those lyrics in there.
Making games like every day. And I be
Stop
making games in
Okay, fun
every
fact.
way.
Just so you're all in the inside joke that Bim is now revealing, I made a rap song about video games that we never released because
Oh
Bim
my
was supposed to do the
God.
music video for it, and we never got it done. And now it's been so long that the references are dated, so it's like it doesn't even
I
make
need
any
to hear
sense
this.
anymore.
I need to hear this.
Listen, we get enough people in this stream, might even play the MP3.
I didn't agree to that.
You didn't agree to that?
Wait, so
That
who?
would be pirating.
Tim, were you singing it?
Yeah,
Oh my
he was
god.
singing the chorus.
this.
Just making
this.
games like every day.
Oh man, I need
There's a
this.
bang.
It was
Banger.
good. It was good. Drop the trap,
Alright.
big system. Hey, listen, we've been telling him that for years. He never got around to it. He blames me, but I promise it wasn't.
First time a month ago, started to learn game dev with you guys. Awesome. That's great to hear. Game dev is fun.
Yes, it is.
I be making games like every day.
Oh, you used to be anyway. I have a kid.
Well, yeah.
but-
Yeah, now I don't do that as much.
Man, we got people from all over the world in right now.
Yeah, everybody type in the chat where you're from. What country? What city? Don't type your address.
We got we got
I
Costa
feel like I
Rica,
need to specify that.
Argentina, Costa Rica. Let's see. I gotta scroll. California.
But most importantly, Tim and Jana, how are you two doing?
So good.
Fantastic.
Oh,
Out there.
Denmark, South Africa, Poland, England, Canada, Switzerland.
Pacific
Oh my gosh,
Northwest.
it's coming in so fast. The moon. Oh my gosh, how'd you get to the moon? That's cool.
That's pretty cool.
Canada.
That's pretty cool.
Is that Kindred Games in the chat?
Yes, he is.
Somebody get that man banned immediately.
Oh, how the turntables.
Let me do it, please. Yeah.
All right. Starting stream. Welcome everybody to the 2025 annual Game Jam live stream for GameDev.tv. We're going to be talking about lots of stuff here. The jam starts in exactly 30 minutes,
Well,
and we're gonna in exactly 24 minutes if we're being exact.
Good job.
We'll release the theme here. We'll tell you about the theme. We'll put it on the page as well, and then we're going to generate some game ideas with you and the squad, and we'll come up with some game ideas for the game jam and get it all started.
Yeah.
So real quick, if you're new to game jams, I just need to do a quick intro on what they are and how they work. So the idea behind a game jam is that you're going to make a game within a specified time with a certain theme. So our jam is 10 days. It starts in 24 minutes, like I said, and then it goes for 10 days until Monday the 26th. So you have those 10 days to make a game. You can use any free assets you find on the internet, and there's a bunch more details on the jam page of like what's allowed, what's not allowed. You can't use paid assets, and you can't use paid assets that you got for free, with the exception of the sponsored assets that you can get for free right on the jam page. If you haven't gotten those assets, I highly recommend you do, because they're not going to be available after the jam. So
They'll be
free
gone.
assets, yeah, completely free assets that Jana hooked up for us with a bunch of great sponsors. So grab those while you can, and basically make a video game. You know, if you have any questions about the game jam, now would be the time to ask them, because we got a little bit of time before the jam starts.
Yeah.
So we're happy to answer questions.
Somebody's saying, I didn't know people used wallpaper. How retro? There's no way. There's no way. Golly.
It's very stylish.
Someone said Jana and the Jam is a great band name.
Jana and the Jam.
You know, we could do TB and J if we started a band together.
Yes, you can do assets on your own. So if you make your own assets.
TB&J.
Yes.
It's like a really bad sandwich.
You can use any engine you like except for Construct. Hey. I might change the rules to where you can only use Construct 3.
Can we make a Roblox game?
Yeah, Jan, I was about to say, that's an interesting question. What do you guys think?
I mean, I don't think you can actually submit it to itch because it has to go through Roblox.
It's true.
So
I don't think you can.
I think that's the limitation with that one. I mean,
Yeah.
I would be open to it, but that's the thing, right?
If you can figure out a way to make an itch page and link to your Roblox, go for it.
Yeah.
But you have to
Without
submit to the
needing
jam.
Yeah, you can't. It can't be a link to download Roblox.
Right.
And then, yeah, it's got to be. It's kind of
The free assets link still not working?
We will
Are
get
you
on
not-
it.
I've only had like 2 people with issues.
If you have pop-up blockers enabled, you might want to disable them
Those
temporarily.
will make it not work. Yes.
Through tech reasons, we had to use a weird pop-up thing. Like, it's a long story, and you guys don't want the details. Trust me. Can we use free assets that are free? Only if they're free.
If you
Can
submit
we-
your game
Oh,
via
sorry, Hannah, go
Google,
ahead.
sorry, if you submit your game
Okay.
via Google Drive, most people will not play it. So if you have a size constraint on itch, you can contact itch and they can let you improve or increase that.
Yeah.
But I don't know that any jam game would meet that.
Yeah. So let's talk about some like top tips for this. So there's, first of all, I want to say the number one objective, if you've never done a game jam, is to submit a game.
Mm-hmm.
Don't care what shape it's in. Don't care if it barely runs. Don't care if it has a bunch of bugs. Submit your game. This is a very critical process in like your evolution as a game dev. You need to get your stuff out there. That being said, there's a couple things that you can do when you submit your game to make it more likely for people to play it, make it more likely for people to give you feedback, and so on and so forth. One of those is if you can publish a web build and upload it to itch, you'll likely get more players because people can play it in a browser. They don't have to download and stuff like that. Some people are sketchy about downloading executables on the internet. I don't blame them for that. So you generally get more players when you do web builds.
Unreal 5 does not support web builds right now, so
Yeah. So that being said, I don't want that to discourage you either.
Yes.
So if you can't do web builds, still submit. Don't be like, oh, I can't do a web
for
build.
sure, people
Absolutely
will still
submit.
download and play, especially if other people have commented like, "Oh, this is a good game." Like, there's legitimacy in there. Other people will be open to clicking it.
Mario
But-
asked how much
Yeah.
gameplay time should we aim for? Little or as much as
Yeah.
you want. Obviously, longer it is. Don't submit a 16-hour fantasy epic. But
My other thing with itch submissions, if you submit a game that doesn't have a browser and it's just a download and your page is just all white and it looks generic, no one's gonna play it. Let's be honest. Add some color. Add some
So, So when the jam ends at 5 p.m. Eastern on Monday the 26th, that does not mean that's when you should be finishing your game. you should probably have your game finished by that Sunday, right? Because Monday is submission day. You've got to design a logo. You got to like put your page up. You got to make your page pretty. You got to there's issues that always arise of people trying to submit their game in the last second, and so like you don't want any technical issues. Now, if you get to Monday and you're still not finished and you're typing away, cool, still submit, right? But like
you can always submit a build and then update it. So it's better to have something in there.
This is the other thing. If you submit and if you join the jam and you submit a game and there's a game breaking bug after the jam deadline ends, you're allowed to patch your game. Only for bugs though. So you can't add content, but you can add additional like you can fix bugs and stuff.
Yeah, I would just keep your original submission and label it as that, and then add patch.
Yeah. So we waiting. We ready.
Yeah. Okay, there was a couple questions that now I got to scroll back and find though.
Yeah, there was one about generative AI. So everybody has different opinions about AI. Our policy is use it legally and ethically, whatever that means for you. That's all we can really say about it. I wish we could have a more concrete policy, but like, it's all over the place. Yeah. So yeah, use it if you feel it is ethical. Make sure it's legal, and make sure what the model you're using and all that is legal and all that stuff. Other than that, go for it.
Otherwise, it's okay either way.
Yeah.
Someone asked about paid Unity plugins, like I don't even know what that says, Final LK or FPS Engine. I've been saying paid plugins or paid tools or things like that. It's just a tool. Any tool that you would use is fine. Yeah,
the Unity store, for example, considers everything assets. But when we say paid assets, we mean like 3D models and 2D and stuff like that. So if you're using tools or using plugins and stuff like that, that's totally cool. Anything that you use that is equivalent to the hammer of making your game with, we're not gonna judge you on.
There was not a
what up? Vote. There's not what?
A theme vote. So we did not vote on themes this year.
Here's the deal, guys. I got a level with you. Okay. Every time we do a theme vote, you guys pick the worst themes. You guys pick the worst themes. We've stopped.
At least when Tim picks it, it's the second worst theme. Okay. But it's not the worst. You guys have the worst opinion.
So as much as I love community involvement and stuff like that, we want to try something a little bit different this year. So there's no theme vote, and we'll see. Now, I know how this is going to go. The second the theme comes out, you guys are going to be like, "This is the worst theme." Oh my god!
It doesn't matter what the theme is. So
yeah.
So
someone asked if they can make a VR game. Absolutely. That is going to limit how many people can play your game, but have fun, man.
Yep. Phoenix Games says, I hated the vote. Phoenix, that's exactly why we got rid of them. We knew you hated them, and Tim said we're not going to do it. Okay? That's what happens. The theme is shoot to move. Carl knows. That's not official, by the way. Nobody take that out of context. We're not saying that.
No.
I was reading chat.
What about sound libraries? If they're free.
They're free. Yep. Where are themes, says Salty Val.
14 minutes, 51 seconds.
Was there any other questions we missed? Any policies for not suitable for work stuff? I
would mark it as such. Don't
shove
it in people's faces if possible, but it's not banned. You can use it. You can do it.
Oh my gosh, I would love if the theme was spreadsheets. That would be so much fun. Tim's like, no. Oh, I would love that.
Nah. Make a game this is the kind of stuff that would rise to the top if we let them vote again.
Yeah, well, exactly. You know what? Maybe we should, Tim, and just let them suffer the consequences of their own decisions. Maybe that's more fun. But just out of curiosity in chat, who's you know what? Forget it. I'm leaving. How many people here is this their first game jam?
Oh, there's a lot. Oh, so someone said they've tried jams before and they wind up bailing. And they think that they'll stick through this time. And I feel like that's very common where you kind of just bail.
Yeah.
And I think that has a lot to do with time management. Like,
you
really need to figure out your milestones and where you want to be by a certain date so that you kind of have something to look forward to. Because if you're looking at this whole entire project you need to do in 10 days, you get very overwhelmed, and that's why most people dip out. So milestones are important.
For sure. And one of the things I always like to do is aim for way smaller scope. Like if I look at a game idea and I'm like, I could get that done today, that's probably the thing I want to do in 10 days because it's not going to take me a day.
Every time I try to look at chat, it's just like, boom.
It keeps updating. Yeah, we got a lot of first timers in the chat.
Okay.
Somebody's fifth. I did want to. Somebody asked this question twice now. I want to get to this quickly. Somebody's asking, can we recreate paid assets? As long as that doesn't mean steal them, then sure, I guess.
Listen, if I see Mario in the game, Nintendo might, but like we don't care.
Someone said that the theme was confirmed to be coming soon. Oh man, I wasn't serious when I said that.
Yeah.
Plan to make a game in 3 to 5 days. Yeah, I agree, Devious. Probably something you think you can get done this weekend because you're probably bad at scoping, and you're probably wrong. So.
Okay, so there's a question: How are the games sorted in order after release? So you can go to all the games submitted, and then there's a button on the left that says "random." Take me to a random game or something. I don't know the exact verbiage, but that way you can just randomly go to a game.
Yeah. Our default sort, by the way, I have to double check and make sure that the jam is actually sorted this way by default. But there's a couple different sorts. There's random sort, which I like, and then there's I forget what it's called, but it's basically a combination of how many people are commenting on your thing and like interactivity and all that. I generally like default random sort because there's a lot of different jam games. There's a lot of different people. And I like people to kind of be exposed to a bunch of stuff. I don't necessarily want when in the feedback session for the week after the jam closes. Everybody's playing everybody's game and leaving feedback, right? So I don't necessarily want the top games to show up at the top because we want to give everybody a chance to get feedback and everybody a chance to get the game played. But after the feedback session closes, then the games will be ranked by a series of parameters that are disclosed on the jam page.
Okay, I'm trying to grab some questions.
Okay.
Yeah, one of them. Hello, don't want to be rude, but after submitting game, will I have the opportunity to choose which free course to take? Is it one course or pack? Tim, what you got for me? Do you know?
You'll be able to choose any course you want to take. It has to be a course though. No program or workshop or anything like that.
Or bundle of courses.
Yeah, it's got to be a single course.
Single one.
But you do get to choose.
Yes.
Yeah.
These are the categories that you're going to be judged on, by the way. So overall, fun, theme, aesthetics, music, sound, mechanics, story. These are the ones. So after the voting ends, these is what you'll be ranked on.
Yep. Somebody's asking, will this VOD be viewable later? I think it stays on YouTube permanently, right? I think.
Yeah, this stream will stay on YouTube permanently. Who owns the game after finishing the jam? Whoever made the game.
Yes. It'll stay on itch until you want to delete it or just leave it there.
Yeah. We take no ownership in any of your stuff.
Okay.
You want to go through these questions?
Yeah, I posted another one in there. Hold on. I'm trying to see if there's any other ones.
Okay.
What's the next one? How much of pre-made stuff can we use?
Look, this is it's one of those things that you can't directly address because we have a lot of beginners in our community. We have a lot of people that need a step. The spirit of the game jam is that you make a whole game in 10 days, and that's generally what we want you to do. But if you're a brand new beginner and all you have is the code you've made from like the first section of the Unity course, I don't think anybody's going to mind if you use that, right? Like start on that because you don't know a lot about programming and actually get something finished. You need to start with something. So I think that's cool. It follows in the spirit of the jam. Now, if you come in and you submit a project you've been working on for 2 years and it's on a real engine and it's got a publisher and all that, we're going to be like, hold on, what are you doing here? So yeah, generally it's fine if you're a complete beginner and you need the help. But if you are not a complete beginner, you've been dabbling for a year or two, try doing a whole thing from scratch and see how that goes.
Okay, so we got 2 more questions. So I see 3,100 people registered. How many submitted games? So we've had about the same amount last year. and it was a third of that submitted games. So you got to remember a lot of those are also in groups. So, and then how will you prevent the rating system from turning into a popularity contest? What if someone has a lot of Twitter followers or something and can get a lot of people to vote? Okay, so here's the thing. The voting, there's no winner for it. So if that happens, then there we go. But
yeah,
if it's something like bots are on there and stuff, we could go in and say, you know, like you're just submitting this everywhere, and we can remove it from the jam. We have that power, but there's no winning. It's you won because you submitted a game. And really, I take the ratings as feedback of, okay, no one liked my music. How can I figure that out? Or I didn't work in the theme at all and I thought it did amazing. How can I make that better, kind of thing? So
yeah, there's a reason why we never do prizes or anything like that for the first ranked people, is because we don't want this to be a competition. It's not a competition, it's a community event. So like, we're all doing this together and people are going to vote on different things, and the games are going to get ranked at the end. But like exactly what Jana said, take it as feedback for your game.
A lot of people on Discord are saying, I'm just trying to beat my score from last year, which is great. Yeah. That's growth.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, especially with the whole Gen AI thing, right? You know, there's a lot of controversy about that, you know, speed, stuff like that. You know, if we kind of encourage people to win, you know, that it invites more tricky behavior, right? Like popularity contests or using stuff to get it done quicker or whatever. You know, this is a very creative, community creative endeavor, right? That's the way you want to see it.
Yeah.
Finishing games, working collaboratively. You know, what can you do in this time zone, time frame? Sorry, rather than, you know, who's the best game dev? Because what does that even mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this question's come up a lot in Discord and everywhere, is how to submit the game as a team, or how to make sure you're a team.
Yep.
I asked that everyone actually clicks that join jam button. This just lets us know how many people are joining the jam. And then the only way to actually make a team is one person makes the page for your game, and then you add them all as collaborators. And we will talk about this more towards the end. I don't know if it's our next stream or our end stream, we'll talk about it, but it's come up a lot. There's no way to like join the jam as a team. It's when you submit the game that you put yourself as a team. So
yeah. And all of the contributors on a game will be given a free course, up to 6. So you don't have to worry who submits a game, who makes the itch page, all that.
As long as you're all listed.
Yeah. One other thing that Samuel in the chat brought up is we do have this set to submitters and contributors who can vote on games, which means that the only people ranking your game are other people that submitted their own game. So in the instance of somebody having thousands of followers, unless all those people join the jam, they can't really influence your vote.
Someone asked if Tim could be featured as the main character of a game. Please.
You have my permission as long as it's not one of those NSFW games.
Yeah. And then someone said, can someone that is rated number 1 in overall put an accolade on the game if they push it to a full project? I mean,
sure.
Yeah, why not?
Just want somebody to play my game. That's really it. That's the spirit of the jam, man. That's what we're doing, because you're going to have thousands of people that are browsing for playing some games, and it's very likely you're going to get a bunch of people play your game.
Yeah. All right, we got 5 minutes. I'm going to get the page ready to adjust.
All right, I'll stop showing the back end of it just in case.
So that doesn't go away. All right.
What was that dog again? Draggy dog? That was the dog, but that's Rick's dog. Rick made, actually, I think it was it last year or the year before, he made a Draggy dog game? You guys missed it. Should have been in the jam.
All right, it is in there. I just have to hit save.
I think game becomes NSFW by having
sponsor assets.
I don't
are
know what
used,
that means.
Yes, please do. All the assets that are sponsored, please use their assets that you're given in your game. Feel free to follow their license and use them in the future. And then check out their pages to get some of their other stuff, because they all have really awesome stuff. But yes, those are the one exception to the free assets rule.
Yeah. And we got sponsors on this jam, guys. Stop talking about Tim NSFW games. Okay? We got to be professional and stuff now.
Yeah.
Tim NSFW games are professional, Tim. Come on, man.
That's trying to be legit. We're going mainstream.
Joseph says, I love Rick. Don't we all? Don't we all, ladies and gentlemen?
Rick is loved.
Yes, he
Father to us
is.
all. I hope the theme is good, says Caden. Listen, if you guys don't like the theme, remember, you all voted for it. Okay? So the only people you have to blame are yourselves.
Everyone's like, wait, I didn't vote.
Technically, the theme is not good.
You do not have to join the jam to see the theme. The jam page, as soon as I click save, it'll update and you'll be able to see it.
She's going to do that in 3 minutes and 4 seconds.
Jana, this is your chance to surprise Tim and do Excel sheets as a theme.
Yeah, exactly.
I swear to God, if the wrong theme gets announced.
No. I didn't have time to make a banner for that. I just came up with that idea. Next time. Don't worry.
Where did Ben go? We haven't found him yet. He's still
No, he
missing.
disappeared a while back. He flew up into the sky. Don't know where he went.
Do you ever organize meetup events?
I wish. That would be cool.
We've thought about it. We're a scattered team. Like we're all over the place. Australia, UK, US, both sides of the US. Like, yeah, I think Ben did one meetup in the UK a while back, like 7
Oh no,
years
you
ago.
got all the we could vote. There was no voting for theme.
Yeah,
There was no voting.
There was no vote. That was a joke. Earlier in the stream, we had a little chat about that. There was no vote. Sorry, guys. That was a joke.
Someone asked with the topic of NSFW, should we mark trigger warnings too? That's always a good idea. You don't have to, but it's always a good idea too.
Theme's not gonna be a game about Tim. Dude, we've had those though. Like, how many have we? Oh, this brings back memories. What was that Metal Gear Solid? What was that game again?
It was Metal Gear BIM, I think, or Metal BIM Solid. Or something like that.
You guys used my face in like a stealth game. Yeah.
That was crazy. That was
minute and a half.
We're gonna do a game jam dance.
I know.
Can you make a sandbox game, i.e., no win condition?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
You can make here's the beautiful thing about this. You can make any kind of game you want. We've got a theme that we're gonna announce in a minute and 12 seconds. You can follow that theme, or you cannot follow that theme. You will get voted probably low in the theme category, but if you don't care about that, neither do we.
Yeah, you'll be able to see your ratings in each of those categories and then your overall. So if you're just trying to get each of those categories, you do not have to follow the theme at all. So no worries not being here. Like, we might have missed, or Caden on YouTube, we might have missed questions too. Like, the chat's been going a little fast. So we're trying to keep up with that. Let's see, drum roll. Oh.
Otter panic noises. I need a sound effect of that, man.
Yeah, seriously.
All right,
who
30
was that one guy
seconds.
that did all those pixel art courses?
Reese. You're probably talking about Reese.
Yes.
He's our pixel art instructor. They're all still there. I mean, it'd be nice to have them before, but you could get one for free if you wanted to.
Yes,
after you submit.
You can still click join jam after the jam has started. No worries.
Yep. All right, 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7,
Oh, damn.
6,
5,
4, 3, 2, 1. All right, jam starts. Let's see if Jenna did it. You got the theme? The theme is Tiny World. Tiny World is the theme. Now, you could, if you know what you want to do, you can head off and go get started right now. Just get started. What we're going to do now is we're going to talk about a bunch of game ideas that have to do with Tiny World and that theme. So we're going to brainstorm some ideas for people thinking like,
fun theme.
I don't know how to do this. Yeah. And I would love to shout out Kindred Games, who did the lovely art for this theme, Tiny World.
Yep.
Yes,
artwork is
he's in
amazing.
chat somewhere.
Who's Rick? Great question, Justin. We don't know either.
All right.
Oh, everyone loves the theme. I'm so happy.
Whoop, whoop. Okay, so one of the cool things about this theme, hopefully, is that it makes you scope down, right?
Yes.
That was one of our objectives, is like, beginners tend to like, oh no, that's such a big concept, but like try to make something tiny, right?
Yeah.
The first thing I thought of when I saw this was like Toy Story, like a toys in a bedroom, kind of tiny world, stuff like that. And then I was thinking about that a bunch, and I was like, dude, you could totally play as like bugs or ants, right? Like tiny worlds like that.
I think there's also, if you just look in this picture, there's lots of little things going on that can kind of inspire you as well.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's a lot going on.
Kindred Games is Michael Kosha in the chat.
Who's that, Jana?
That's my husband. my lovely husband. I roped him to making me a banner.
Yeah, we got some free artwork.
Yes. So yeah, you can look at all the details too, and there's going to be a lot of good things that kind of inspire. So yeah, everyone's liking the theme. I'm so glad.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I might even, I don't know. I'm still undecided. Maybe I'll give it a shot.
Cockroach Simulator? Oh my god, no. No, thank you.
I was thinking, so ants was a big one, but then I was thinking like ecosystem in a capsule. Like, you know how they have those like ant farms, but you could totally like make like a fish tank or like a ant farm type of game. Yeah, you can. Let's share your screen, Bim, if you want to get some ideas going.
Sure. We got MS Paint up and running, the most professional of softwares. Tim,
Yes.
it is shared, but
Really cool theme. Okay, I'm just so excited everyone likes the theme.
it's a great theme. It's a great theme.
All right,
So we got
MS Paint open.
playing as bugs or tiny creatures, as Tim was saying, creating tiny worlds. I mean, that's an obvious one. Ecosystem in a capsule. What else? What else are we thinking?
Someone again asked about they didn't click on join jam yet. Can they still join after the jam has started? Yes, absolutely.
You can join all the way up to 5 seconds before the jam ends.
Yes.
And what's the imagination box from SpongeBob? Don't.
So that's somebody in the chat. Caden put that. So you never seen the episode of SpongeBob where they?
I don't like SpongeBob, so
you don't like SpongeBob.
I don't
Sorry.
So in for those who don't know, the imagination box in SpongeBob is they get in a box and there's a guy outside the box who can hear like car races and construction work and spaceships and war, and they open the box and there's nothing in the box except these two guys, and they're just, the whole point of the episode is to just build on, like, use your imagination, right? You've got a little box, you get in the box,
okay,
it's just
that's cool.
Use your imagination.
Yeah. I was thinking of a bunch of the cute ideas, and I asked my lovely wife, and the first thing she said was, "You're trapped in a room like Saw with a killer," and I was like,
"Oh my gosh,
that's kind of dark," but okay.
That's a tiny world. That's one little world.
Some dark romance, I guess.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to message her and be like, "Really? That's where you went with this?" Oh.
For some reason, I
don't trust
thought
anyone that doesn't like SpongeBob. Wow.
Sporty.
Untrustable. Escape rooms are another thing that came up with bouncing off of that. Great one. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah.
There was a game.
Plants and seeds came up as well.
What is
plants, like seeds? You know, like little tiny microscopic world, like grass and like.
So one of the sponsored asset packs is a bakery. That's from Tiny Worlds, or Tiny Treats. Sorry, Tiny Treats. I was like, that's not it. And like that could be a little world of just in your bakery how to do something.
Can you imagine a little mouse bakery? Like this cute little mouse or something like that, and you're making little treats.
Yes.
Yep. Maybe as well thinking more metaphorically. You know, we're all trapped in our own little tiny worlds, right up in our heads. Maybe go a little more metaphorical with it. Think, what is your little tiny world? How can you put your tiny world into a game? Although maybe that would take too long, but you don't have to take it literally, but maybe some advice to actually complete the jam, especially if it is your first one. Maybe take it literally, but feel free to play around.
Kaiju City Crusher, like King of Monsters. That seems like the opposite of time. It seems like giant guys.
Mini golf? Oh, mini golf. Yes, that would count.
That's great.
Totally.
For sure, yeah.
The bakery's a lie. Oh my gosh.
Surviving inside a washing machine.
That's hilarious.
That's a good one.
Someone asked, can you overview the free assets?
Overview? Yeah. Well, I don't know if we could do it on stream, but we have a bunch of links and stuff.
I posted and I pinned it of all the links in our Discord. So on the GDTV Game Jam 2025, there is a pinned post from me. And my name in there is Jana, so you'll know it's me. That I put all the links for everything, so you can kind of just take a look. I posted their actual channel and then what they're giving us.
Awesome.
Devious, you're exactly right. A game where you run into people you haven't seen in a long time. That's exactly it.
Play on Small World kind of stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds terrifying, though. I don't know if I want to make a horror game.
I thought of the bakery when sponsors got revealed and there's no inside. So maybe everything needs to go with your customers outside. You got to kind of think out the box. Tiny World, a game where you run into people you haven't seen in a long while. Maybe people you don't want to see again.
First PC game we owned, personal clothing detergent ad where you ran around in a giant shirt and enemies were stains.
Uh-oh. We just lost Bim.
Bim just said, deuces.
Peace out.
There he is. He's back.
There we go.
I'm back. I don't know what happened. I'm so sorry.
A ship in a bottle, that's a cool one. That's a cool one. Bacteria? Yeah, anything to do with bacteria. There's some cool ideas coming out of this. I'm excited.
All right, let's see. What about? So I know a lot of people talk about ants. What about like an ant empire?
That's
Yeah.
Isn't that a game on Steam? I think that's an actual Steam game.
Oh, I don't know.
It's called Ant Empire. But yeah, I like the concept.
Yeah. What about?
Somebody's saying, does it need to be 2D or 3D? Either.
It could be anything. Yeah.
Yeah, anything.
You could do 2.5.
2.5D. Tim did a 1D game back in the
I
day.
did the world's first 1D game.
1D game.
I remember that.
Dude. Yeah, there's an actual game called Ant Empire on Steam. I remember it. I don't know why.
You could do like a card game too. Like that's just a card game. What is
That's
it?
cool.
There's a bunch of them I play on Steam and I cannot think of any of them right now. Where it's just like a card game you play. Those are
You're talking
fun.
like Stacklands kind of
Yeah,
thing?
Stacklands. Thank you.
I love that game. I love
They
that game
made
so
another
much.
one about Witch. It's Witch something. But it's like they made a second one kind of, but it's separate, but it's the same. Yeah. Let's see.
Good luck making a 4D game, but I don't think we have the
that'd be-
technology to do that yet.
I mean, that'll probably win if you manage to pull that off.
What if they did like a maze? Like, you know, like a rat in a maze? But you have to like
some kind of maze game.
like a puzzle kind of maze game where you're like looking at the puzzle and you have to get them through.
Then bring
Yeah.
the saw guy in and slowly remove it.
There you go. Witch Hand. Oh, Witch Hand was a different dev? I thought it was the same one. Thanks, honey.
Shows some strong inspiration.
The theme is Tiny World.
Should've put
It
that
is
the
also
screen,
on
actually.
the itch page.
Tiny little baby world.
The free assets with this game jam are amazing. You're welcome. I contacted all those people to get themes get asset packs. So
Yeah. And if you guys want to support those sponsors, feel free to click their links in the
Yes.
README stuff. They make really good stuff.
Yep.
So we really appreciate them giving out assets for the gym.
Tiny Robot, short story from distant universe. He tried to invade planet Earth in realities the size of our ant. There was a childhood story I used to be read. My mum used to read me when I was a kid of like a really scary monster, like kid comic book thing, and there'd be this little kid going about his day, and then at the end it's revealed the monster who's been like eating everything and eating entire planets is actually like this big and lands on his doorstep. It's
you're
very
the
funny.
you're the tiny teddy bear that protects the kid while they sleep. That's actually a board
Aw.
game. There's a board game.
Someone beat you to
I
it.
can't think of what it's called.
Oh,
Yeah.
My husband's gonna tell
is
me
very
because he's
sweet.
sitting next to where the board games are. I betcha.
Board games main. Yeah, we had one of the jams. We had somebody actually submit a board game
Ooh.
that they made, which I was like, all right, that's cool. We didn't say it had to be a video game.
Yeah, I know that'd
Yes.
be cool.
Yeah.
It
Well,
was
I
hard
mean-
to play because you needed players and stuff, and you had to print
Yeah,
it out
that's
and
true.
all that. But
Yeah.
You can make a single player board game. It's just a lot harder.
yeah,
Who here in the chat, just a quick show of hands, this is going to spam the chat, I'm sorry everybody,
You
has
got
some idea already of what they're going to do?
It's called Stuffed Fables, the board game.
Yeah,
Type
that's a good
one if
question,
you've got
man.
some idea. Type
Stuffed
1 or
Fables.
put me or something. Who here has some idea, they think they know what they're going to do? And who here doesn't?
Yeah. yeah. Who's lost? Who's lost in the tiny world?
Are there more questions? Like, we're open to answering stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Someone beat you to it, destroyed my game dev experience. Hey, don't let that stop you, man.
Mm.
I think some of the
Yeah.
best movies and games of all time have been directly inspired by other things. Like, dude, the what are those called? The PlayStation exclusive adventure games, like the Indiana Jones games.
I can't remember any
Uncharted.
today, so.
Uncharted. Yeah, you're not doing well this today, Jen.
I'm not. I need to write this stuff down.
Uncharted. I love those games. Those games were directly inspired by Tomb Raider and Indiana Jones, and it's like the same thing. But the way that they did those games were so different.
Yep.
They were very story based, and it's amazing. I think it's awesome to pull from stuff that you love.
Oh, here's a good question. Does the world itself have to be small in relation to another world, or can one be small in a big world?
Yep.
It could be either.
Either or neither.
It's it's your interpretation and how you want to take it.
It's up to you to figure out how the theme relates to your game.
So maybe Tim and Jana as well, what we can make clear to people is, just in case people are worried, like, oh, what if my game doesn't directly, like, it's not, like, how obvious does it need to be that my game is related to the theme, right? How I don't want to be disqualified. I don't want to be. First of all, nobody's going to really be disqualified. That's doing illegal stuff. But people who are worried about that, what are we thinking? How do people make it obvious? Do they need to make it obvious? Maybe they don't.
Go ahead, Janice.
I'm just throwing it to both of you.
I mean, that's tough because with the ratings, it's just how you feel you did. They're rating you, so you get that score. It doesn't go anywhere else. So if you feel like you really nailed the theme and you want to succeed at nailing the theme, but you get a low rating, then maybe your idea of the theme wasn't what other people thought. And that's kind of the iffy part of people are just playing the game and rating it. They don't always leave the feedback in the comments on there and saying, oh yeah, the theme was kind of off because of this. They'll just say, no, it's a 1. So if you want to go abstract, and if you get rated low for that, then okay, I went too abstract. But if you don't care about keeping the theme in there, then don't worry about it.
Yeah, my experience is very similar to Jana's as well. Like, I think every time I've made a game where the theme connection isn't directly obvious, I get rated lowly in theme.
Yeah.
It's because people are like, I don't know how this is a thing. But with Tiny World, like, obviously if you have a tiny world, you're gonna get rated in theme. So if it's not super obvious, maybe you can figure out a way to make it more obvious if that's important to you, or just don't worry about it.
Yeah. Well, again, another reason why we don't have a winner necessarily, right? Because especially with the Game Jam themes are so open to interpretation, you could have hit the most genius abstract metaphor, but nobody gets it, and then you lose the competition, which is why we don't have one.
Somebody said Dollhouse up there, and I think that's a great name.
Oh,
that was a great show too.
Yes, it was. Yeah. There was a question of, if I have assets that were originally paid art assets, but I have modified them, can I use it in the jam?
That's tricky.
Use your own discretion. I would say they'd have to be pretty heavily modified for that to be okay.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You are a giant surgeon that operates on small people, so controls are very sensitive. Oh, that'd be crazy.
Make it like Operation, but like with microscopic people.
Yes. Can the game be rated mature? Yes, it can, but please put a warning, disclosure, something on your page so that people know before they play it and they're not surprised.
Yeah.
Ant City Builder would be cool.
Honey,
but the only buildings would be the only buildings in Ant City Builder would just be anthills.
Yeah.
If you're really struggling for ideas, there's a lot of game types at the moment that are quite popular. One that gets, I'm sure you guys have seen it on YouTube or whatever, the idea of an anomaly game where you're like walking through a single corridor and you just have to figure out, is something different to the last time I walked through this corridor, and you're kind of going on this loop. So like, look around, if you're really like, I don't know what to make, what's going to take me too long. There's a lot of popular anomaly games. There's a few others that I'm losing at the moment, but feel free to copy that mechanic, right? Like that system, and just add your own twist to it, add it to the theme, right? It doesn't have to be some original masterpiece. Some of those games are masterpieces. So really don't worry, it's just about getting a game out there and getting it done. Yeah.
Okay, 2 questions. What about assets that were free at some point on Epic Store but are no longer free? Those would say no. And then with the amount of participants, will it be a community vote or a jury vote? So we have it open to community, but again, there is no prize for winning. It's just your score. A lot of people just compare score year over year. So they're just trying to increase how well they did.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Vampire Survivor game where you're fighting white blood cells fighting off viruses. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. A survival game where you keep shrinking smaller and smaller, like a de-evolution kind of game.
But now these are just general ideas that anybody in the community can use.
Yeah. These ideas for the team want to help us. Oh yeah, we just answered that. Yeah. Just anyone looking there, the ideas on screen, they're just ideas to get the brain turning. There's barely anything here. I'm sure you guys could brainstorm way better than us. But just
you do not need a team. No, you can go solo. But if you do a team, it's up to 6 people.
Osmosis Jones, welcome, Alyssa.
Yes!
Tell me about your idea. Your Saw dark romance ideas. I can submit source code that you need bugs in it and get work. We can call it a jam.
We do not need source code. A couple of people have asked for that.
A couple years in a row we needed source code in your game. We don't need that this year, so don't worry about that.
Hi, I gave my email for the asset giveaway about 20 minutes ago. Still haven't gotten it yet. Should I still wait? Have you checked your promotions or spam folder? It usually doesn't take too long, but up to 5 minutes. What about a tiny world that created a simulation of a tiny world?
Isn't that what we're in?
Yeah.
The universe is the big world.
A Kecko?
Yeah.
A Kecko legend. What is a Kecko legend?
Sounds sinister.
I'm Googling it.
Sounds like the Babadook.
Thanks for sponsoring this. It's going to be great fun. Can we go now and work, or is there something else we need here?
You
guys,
go. Get out of here.
You guys can go.
Leave.
Yeah, we're brainstorming ideas.
Yeah.
If you guys feel like you have an idea, you want to get started, feel free.
We're just answering questions, coming up with a list of ideas to put on the itch page, and hanging out.
Yeah.
Survival battle royale. You should make Fortnite, but like small.
Or just Fortnite. If you guys can somehow recreate Fortnite in like less than a gigabyte, go ahead.
Yeah, small file size. It's pretty funny.
Small file size, right? Tiny world. If you guys can make like a really like a Halo type game or something, but compress it down into 1x1 resolution.
Right.
You're a technical wizard.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone else said they had the same issue with the free assets not showing up. Mostly with Gmail, it goes to your promotions folder. So that a lot of people don't know they have a promotions folder. So yeah. Already started? Good. Later on, good luck. Have fun. Good luck.
Excited to see your games.
Yeah. I'll be in Discord. I can't say we because I can't speak for all of us, but I'll be in the Discord. So if you have questions or anything, I've already been in there.
For sure.
A bunch. Toy Soldier Battle Royale. That's cool.
If you can pull it off, yeah.
Dude, there was a movie called Toy Soldiers.
Yes. From the 90s.
Yeah, a long time ago. But that
I know
movie,
all your references. I know those, so that's good to me.
As a little kid, I was like, "Oh my god!"
We're not that old, Tim.
Life.
We're not that old, okay?
I feel old some days.
I know, same. Okay, I'm trying to catch up on this. A game where you play as a reusable pixel on a screen and need to complete pictures that are missing pixels. That's really cool.
Devious, this guy, man.
It sounds like puzzles, and I hate it.
I love puzzle games.
I like puzzle games. I hate puzzles.
Oh no!
Like the grid of things that you got to find the pieces for.
Mm-hmm.
That's your favorite activity, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's spreadsheets.
I love spreadsheets.
Have a great time and don't forget to take breaks. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, don't crunch. A lot of people associate game jams with crunch, and yes, there can be a lot of that. But like you guys, Jana and Tim, you were mentioning earlier, a lot of people drop out of game jams because of kind of poor time management or lack of time management. Yeah. So yeah, don't kill yourselves doing it. Take time off.
By the way, we should mention that real quick because this is a 10-day jam. So most jams are like a weekend long. I personally prefer weekend game jams because there's no time for any of that. You just gotta go. But the reason we chose 10 days was so that you get 2 weekends, so people that work all the way long can kind of have 2 weekends to work on their stuff. But that being said, don't let that influence your scoping decision, okay? Because it's a lot of time, but we added a lot of time so that beginners and people that don't have a lot of time can participate, not so that you should make a 10-day full-packed crunch mode game, okay? So still try to keep it small, even though it seems like a lot of time. Like we mentioned before we released the theme, something you can do in a day or two, maybe a weekend, should be the goal, and then you have a week to polish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So someone said this is probably one of the best themes I've seen for a jam. Most themes are dog water. I haven't seen anyone say they hated the theme, so I'm super excited about that. Because normally
let's wait for people to start actually making their games, and then
true.
everyone's going to do a 180 on us.
Yeah. Someone asked, is this solos or teams? Either or. Teams up to 6 or solo people, doesn't matter. And then can someone explain the theme Tiny World? I don't understand the scope.
Scope could be whatever you want it to, but we're generating a bunch of ideas so that you can kind of get a sense for what to make.
That's the confusing thing about some game jams, especially if it's your first game jam. You're not sure, like, is the theme, like, how much does the theme influence what I make? Does it have to be a tiny world? How big does that mean? It's completely open to interpretation. It can be as big or as small as you want it to be, as long as it's a game and it kind of fits within the theme. But even then, there's some wiggle room because you can get abstract with it and just have a good time. That's the important part.
And as you can see, a lot of the ideas, some of them loosely relate to Tiny World, some of them don't really relate to Tiny World. Like Tim World, I'm pretty tall, so like I don't know how that's tiny, but like, you know.
These are ideas to help. They're not specific to anyone. You can just take it and run. Where can I find the assets? On the itch page, there's a little frog, and it shows you. You can just click that. It'll take you to the... Isn't it a frog?
It is a frog, but it's funny that you mentioned
it. Was a frog. Like,
go to the frog and get the assets.
It's very direct. Go to the frog. Click there. It'll take you to GameDev.tv, and then you can enter your email and get the assets. By
the way, if you get an email saying from, like, I think it will probably be from Lucy, right? Saying free assets, click for this. We had some people in Discord being like, is this a scam? And I completely get it. It seems like a scam. Click this for free stuff, right? That's like the ultimate scam. But if it's from GameDev.tv, if it's from Lucy, well, actually, you know, I'm not going to say that because now people are going to hear me and they're going to go off and make scam links like that. But
if it's on GameDev.tv, you're probably safe.
Yeah, you're safe. Yeah.
Is there going to be a separate judge category for solo devs? Nope. Everything's just the same. And I'll repeat again in case you didn't hear, but the judging is specifically just for your information so that you have that score. There's no prizes, nothing.
Yep. Are the references of drugs frowned upon being high or trippy? Again, it can be not safe for work, but
just disclosure.
Label it, disclose it.
Like the naked frog hiding its shame. Sounds good.
Look, now that you mention it, maybe we should have an NSFW tag on it.
Oh my gosh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah. And for those, anybody who's got a question and it doesn't get answered or whatever, the VOD will be on YouTube, Tim, right? It automatically goes to YouTube, so feel free to go back through, skim through it to find the answers.
That being said, we're going to end in about 5 minutes. So any other questions you've got, put them in now. Or join the game jam without getting your questions answered. Or hit Jen up on Discord. That could work too.
I'll be there. That's where I'm going to live the next 10 days. So... any AI policy, ethically and legally, take that for
whatever that means to you. Yeah, but remember, especially with the AI thing, I like to just throw this out there. Some people would use it to maybe speed themselves up or whatever it is. Like, again, there's no winning here, right? So like, don't think you're gonna like get ahead of people if you do use it or don't use it. Like, this is an opportunity to practice your skills, to be creative. You're only competing with yourself, so kind of don't cheat yourself out of learning things or practicing skills. Or
I would say there's no losing, Bam. Everybody wins when they submit.
Sorry, you're right. You're right. There's no winning. That's a bad way of phrasing it. You're all losers, and that's the end. We're all going.
There's 2 questions about the sponsored assets. Yes, you can use the sponsored assets that we are giving you for your jam. Those are the only exception for paid assets, because all of the sponsored assets are normally paid assets. So that's the only exception. And then if you do use them, I would put it in, like, you probably won't have time for a credits screen. Most people forget about that, but I would put it on your game page and just let people know, like, these assets were here and link them. So if you don't have time to put it in your actual game, I would at least put it on your itch page. So
yeah.
When does BIM's...
I can cover BIM's face with this.
See you guys.
Oh my gosh.
Just as I started talking. When does BIM's season 2 of BIM's Love Life come out? After the jam, okay? We got to do one thing at a time. After the jam, we do have a new YouTube video out there. Just plugging that in here. What's the worst thing about game development? We did.
Is that what it's called?
That's what it's called. Oh, worst things about game development. It's on the channel. You guys have a spare 10 minutes lying around? Maybe check it out.
Oh, a fishing game where you're a frog fishing for predators of frogs in a pond using a massive fishing pole.
All I see is a turtle labeled Rick.
You mean just Rick General?
Oh my gosh, that's great. That's great. Yeah. Another tip, submit early, submit often. Yes, we talked about this at the beginning a little bit, but there's obviously a lot more people in here. Don't be afraid just to submit a build so you have one up there, because you never know if you're going to lose power right before, or you're not going to be able to upload because it's just frozen, or your game's not compiling and it won't build. Submit often is a great tip.
Yeah. Janet, can you just elaborate on that a little bit? So just for those who missed it or whatever it is, you can submit like, it's not like a one and done thing, right? You can submit and then patch your game.
And you can delete the old ones, keep them, whatever. We just ask that once the submission deadline has passed, you keep your latest one up and mark that as the pre-jam finish. And if you update for bugs, just label those as post-jam.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
This is my first game jam. How do you recommend the 10-day... Oh, it moved. 10-day layout, day 1 planning, and last day sound design? I mean, I guess it kind of is up to you. But
yeah, listen, if I was doing it the first 9 days of sound design. Yeah. And then the rest is
let me chime in here now. I think if day 1 should be planning, day 2 and 3 would be prototyping. Like, you want to get your game.
Yeah.
I think by the first couple of days, you want to have a clear, solid vision for your game, and you have a playable build. If you don't, you're risking the next 7 days on maybe getting to it. I think a mistake a lot of beginners make is they look at a thing that they made and they think, oh, if I just add more stuff, it'll be better. So they have like a half working thing, but then they try to add items and they try to add like upgrades, but it almost never makes it better just adding more stuff. So make sure the core game is interesting, and in the first few days, make sure it's built, and then I would use the next 7 days to polish. I wouldn't plan anything on the last day because all kinds of stuff is going to come up. Bugs are going to pop up. You're going to have random ideas for stuff. Deviations are going to happen. So keep the last day completely free and don't include it in any of your planning.
I think with your planning day, what you really should think of is what's your minimum viable product, and say, okay, I want that done by day 2 or 3. And then really make yourself milestones. So if you have like a wish list of this would be cool, count that later, but make sure you have your milestones of, okay, I want to have a core gameplay loop here, I want to be able to have all my assets in here, and like have that time frame so you know if you're falling behind or if you're ahead, so that you can add more stuff. But that should be in your planning of what you want to get done, and then give yourself that time frame.
And maybe just a couple of questions to wrap up here. So Anthony's saying, if working in a team, is it possible for each contributor to get a different course? I think yes, right? I think
everyone
up to 6. Everyone gets their own choice on that. And then people are asking, is there going to be a post-jam stream, and are we going to be playing any games?
We've got three streams currently planned. This is one of them, and then we've got a mid-jam stream on Wednesday, and then we've got a jam closing stream when the jam actually closes. I'm not sure if we're going to be playing any games on stream, but we're definitely going to be playing some games. I always play some jam games when they get submitted and stuff like that, but we'll have to think about that. I think there might be room for a jam stream. If we do one, we'll probably have to do one where we can only play web builds, just because installing executables on the stream is road I went down one too many times in my life.
Bad idea, yeah.
But yeah, it's possible. There's nothing planned yet currently.
Yeah, but there'll definitely be a post-jam stream. We'll at least be hanging out, chatting about it. Feel free to stream playing them yourselves, and yeah, hope to see you guys at the end. Yeah.
Thomas, you should have gotten the assets. Check your promotions folder and spam folder. If not, hit Jen up on Discord and she can hook you up.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna end. Thank you everybody for coming. I appreciate.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out.
It's been fun. I will see you guys again 4:30 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. What's the date on Wednesday? The 21st. So that's the next stream. It's going to be a mid-jam motivation stream. So maybe we'll showcase some people's projects. Maybe we'll look at some cool stuff. But we'll have fun there. So we'll have another announcement in Discord. And we'll see you guys there. Have fun with the jam.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Jan, I forgot to tell you, but this is the closing stream where they can also hear us. It's the same way. It works the same way as the intro stream.
I could have figured that out,
Well, just in case you personalities come out or something, you never know.
Yeah, me.
Ben gets really weird when things go off the rails. So, gotta remind him.
Oh, I see. It was for Bim. It wasn't for me. You were telling me. It was really for Bim.
I was moonlighting it as a Have a good night, everybody. We appreciate y'all.
For real.
Bye, guys.
See you.
Time to go stream some jam. Yeah, if you want to head over to Michael Kosha Kindred Games stream.
He's literally going to stream right when I get off the computer. We're going to switch.
Yeah, link it. So, head over there because he'll be working on the jam.
Just click on his YouTube right there. He'll be streaming there. Yeah. So
boop, click his YouTube, and we'll see you over there. Jana might pop up there. Who knows?
Oh, yeah. Maybe.
All right. See you guys.